Okay, so this is where we get very personal and we're going to really get to know each other. And if you're on a healing journey, I just want you to know no information is too much information. I am here to share what I know, and I'm unapologetically going to talk about body odor and poop and other discharges and things. Yeah, it's going to happen. And I'm not going to apologize for it because it is critical to your body's detoxification and healing. So sorry if you get a little bit squeamish. You can fast forward that part, or you can put your big girl and big boy panties on, stick it out, listen to it, and understand that what I'm trying to share with you is ultimately going to help your body work at its fullest potential. Okay? So, Candida. I had no idea what it was at all. But what I knew was that oral thrush, white coating on a tongue, didn't seem normal to me. What I knew was recurrent ear infections and respiratory infections didn't seem normal to me. Why is my immune system so shot? What I also thought was a little bit.
Kimberly, here is your reminder. Harvest the Tower Garden.
If you guys have been following me and see some of my other videos, I have a vertical growing system called the Tower Garden.
Kimberly,
and it
here
is
your reminder.
like Busch Gardens
Harvest
right now.
The Tower Garden.
And I wanted to make sure I didn't forget to go in there. I have tons of arugula, some spinach, some basil, a buttload of kale. I have to make kale chips. Maybe I'll show you guys that in another video when I'm harvesting and making some kale chips. But friendly reminder, harvest my Tower Garden. So what I also was thinking was, you know, this exhaustion, this need to take a nap in the middle of the day when I am eating so like raw, fruitarian, vegan, didn't seem right to me. I'm like, what is going on? I keep juicing and keep having smoothies and all this good stuff, but I'm like not getting better and I'm feeling sick. So I was just frequent infections, inability to recover quickly, oral thrush, skin eruptions, acne since I can ever remember. Acne, instead of getting better as you get older, because you think you get older and like you're gonna like grow out of it. No, actually, nobody tells you when you're younger that if you don't take care of like your body and your detoxing, which means like letting your skin and your lymphatic do what it's supposed to do and get like all of the toxins and things we're breathing, if we're not doing that on a regular basis from a young age, it's gonna all build up in our system. So that actually ends up more imbalancing your hormones and more causing these like skin issues. And it can show up in so many different ways. I mean, eczema, psoriasis. For me recently, it had shown up, that's my phototherapy patch. But like I started to break out and get these rashes on my back too. And I'm like, what the heck is going on? I'm like eating relatively easy. My hair in one spot started to like thin out a little bit. So that's why I have some coconut oil. Actually been doing a hair treatment as well that maybe I could share with you if you guys are interested in that. I'll share that with you as well to help support the detoxification of the scalp, because that's another place where we have skin that needs to get cleansed, because if we're not able to sweat, actually I learned this recently, shout out to Dr. Robert Kassar, Earther Academy. I've been obsessed with him. I'm going to get back on track in 1 second. Just let me get this one point out. And what he said in a video I was recently watching was, your hair, like you don't really put two and two together. You don't think about this, but your hair is a detox organ. You know, we shave as ladies, right? My dog wants to play. He's bringing me his ball. We shave as women. You say hi? And we shave this guy too because he grows so much. But what we don't realize is our hair is actually supposed to be an extension of our skin. It's a detox organ. So we're supposed to be able to take anything from our scalp that our body and our skin is trying to get rid of, and the hair literally is there to pull it out. And so when we wash with things that are putting more toxins back in the skin, we're literally like putting a lid, I think of like a lid here on my stove, we're putting a lid on the body's ability to do what it's supposed to do, which is utilize the hair to pull out the toxins. Then when you go back and wash, you want to make sure that you're doing things like what I'm doing, a coconut oil and magnesium mask that I'm putting. I do a bentonite clay mask. I use a product called Morocco Method, which is raw hair care, so that I'm not putting more junk back inside the body. And these are all practices, actually, everything I'm talking about are things that I'm even using with my 8-year-old daughter, because, I don't want her to grow up and say, Mom, you knew all this stuff. You knew about, plant powders and all this other stuff, and you never, taught me or showed. So I'm teaching her everything. So where was I before my tangent? Candida, oral thrush, the body's detox organ, hair, right? Okay, so I was talking about hair. So I learned that the hair is part of your body literally trying to take, like, you have lymph nodes in this area, and the hair is going to help, right? You have lymph nodes in this area, the hair will help to pull out any toxins. Same for like the private areas, right? You have hair there and a lot of lymph nodes to be able to draw all that out. But when we're plugged up, we can't do that properly. So the Candida is a species of bacteria. It's Candida albicans, I believe is what it's technically called, the species name. And it feeds off of any types of sugars, but it also, that's kind of what it's commonly known for feeding off of in our body, but it also can survive off of caffeine, and it can survive off of alcohol. And most people have it in your body. Like you're gonna have Candida in your body. It's an overgrowth. When we're feeding it, or it's for some reason able to thrive and it's growing a lot, that you start to see the remnants or the byproduct of that growth in the oral thrush, because it's like a yeast. So it's an overgrowth of a yeast in your body. So you have the oral thrush. Some people can get like fungus on the toenails. Some people like me, for some reason, in this area. So I'm very backed up and clogged in the lymph nodes. I think they're called submandibular. In here, and then here, back here, I get a lot of like acne and breakout in this area. So one my main goals, actually, I can feel the lymph. I was just doing that and I could feel some movement, which hasn't happened for a while. So that's nice to feel that things are flowing. So we get backed up in here in the submandibular, and then that's where the body is showing the eruption. So the yeast can also be like if somebody is susceptible to yeast infections, right? So if you have vaginal yeast infection, there could be an overgrowth of yeast in the body, and any of the consumption of any sugars. And it's not just like sugar, like you can be like, oh no, I don't eat regular sugar. We cut that out. It goes by a lot of names. So it can feed off of honey. It can feed off of maple syrup. It can feed off of just about anything. I mean, brown sugar, cane sugar, brown rice syrup is another name for sugar. I believe I read a book that there's like 50 plus names that sugar can go by, and any one of those, Candida's like, I'll eat it up. I love it. So, and that we don't love that it does that, because we're trying to kill it. We're trying to get rid of it because we want our health and our vitality back and our skin back and our energy back. And we want to be able to lose the weight and have our hormones balanced. These are all the benefits that you're going to get when you can reduce the amount of load of Candida in your body. I believe there are tests. I can't remember if it's a breathing or a saliva test, but a couple years back I was considering doing it, and then I was like, there's no need. I'm like, no, like I know what I have. I know what it is. And I know that if I don't know what to do to help it, that I can find out, and that I am my best student and teacher. So speaking of, I think this is a good segue to get into what the heck am I planning on consuming by trying to stick to, can you guys see all the way to the end? Yeah, okay. I'll bring it to you one at a time so you guys know. I figure maybe we'll start in one side. So, and I'm going to go pretty quick because some of this stuff needs to be refrigerated or frozen, so I don't want to put it back. No sugar added uncured bacon. Get some good protein, some good fat without the sugar. This came from Aldi, so I plan on having this a couple of times. Sell by June 20th. Oh, I don't have my watch on. I think it's the 15th. So I might cook some, crumble some, and see if I can crumble some and either freeze it to put it into salads or just freeze it whole and then cook it up later. But then I also did an alternative so that I don't have the pork product too much. I also actually had some of this yesterday, hence the reason why it's already in a bag. I cooked up 2 strips of this tempeh smoky bacon. Tempeh is fermented, which is already very good for you. It has cider vinegar. It's like nominal in the sugars, very, very low in sugar, but then alternatively very high in protein. Has a little bit of saturated fat. So that's a whole nother story. We can get into fats and fatty acids in another video, but this one has the coconut oil, which you do want. Some seasonings, and the primary for this is soybeans and brown rice. So I'm also trying to reduce soy as well, and that's controversial because soy is actually good. Water washed soy is actually really, really beneficial and really good for you, and actually one of the only sources of protein that has the full I believe spectrum amino acids. I happen to just be a little bit more sensitive to it, me in particular, because of what I was explaining to you. I know it's really good, and I'm going to be implementing more of it and consuming more of it hopefully later on once I've cleansed and got things moving and my body's in a position to be able to work through it, process and utilize all of the nutrition that's in it. But right now it's kind of throwing me off a little bit. So that was a side note. But yeah, this does have a little bit of soy in there. Eggs, just regular eggs from Aldi. I mean, you can't go wrong with them. One thing I do want to talk about with eggs is I do hard boils. Actually, I just did this. Just finished these. I hard boil a lot at a time, and then I'm going to go and peel these eggs and have them ready to go in my refrigerator. I mean, my dog loves hard-boiled eggs, and I'm really the only one that eats them, but I could probably go through, how many? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, there's 8 there. That could last my dog and I probably about like 3 days because it is a good source of protein for me. So yeah, clearly this is not like a vegan thing. This is a health, nutrients, nutrition, reduced sugar thing. So I will never get rid of the eggshells because, and I can link somewhere here. If you don't see it on the screen right now, then you'll find it in the description box below. But I will link a video that I'm showing you the how and the why of keeping your eggshells and what you can turn them into and the power that they have. So you will never, ever, I promise you, throw an eggshell away again after you learn more about the power of the eggshell. So I have some eggs. Then I have I picked up from Wegmans, some beef marrow bones, because I make my own broth, my bone marrow broth. And I believe that if you're, just like what Robert Cassar says, you want to eat the organ of which you're trying to heal. And so if, the bone marrow is producing my white blood cells, and my white blood cells are my immune system, then, I want to be eating what's going to help support that. So, and also because it makes it really delicious and nutritious, very nutritious bone broth. This I've had and I wasn't using it as much, but then once I started focusing on this type of eating, I'm using this every day. You might actually hear my Alexa remind me because I have an alarm going off 3 times a day to take a couple shots of this. But basically, this has helped me go from like a very acidic stomach, like sometimes some like reflux feelings and some like burning sensations and just stuff that I knew was like, this is not right. Things are not going well. And this really helps to calm that down naturally. I've never had to go for like a Nexium or Prilosec, I think is the other one, any of those over the counters. This has helped to naturally balance the acidity in my body and in my stomach, and I won't go a day without it. These couple of things actually I grabbed before I even decided to do this whole thing. I've had these for a couple of days already. I just decided to do this 2 days ago, and I think I've had these for about a week or so. But basically dairy-free sour cream, no sugars. This one is kind of controversial. I'm going to go for it, but you make the decision for yourself. This is a cashew milk cream cheese. It has been said that peanuts and corn and cashew are really high in their like ability to mold. So mold is, I know, another environment where Candida can thrive. If you follow me, like you don't want to eat things that have a tendency or like an ability to mold, because that could exacerbate the internal environment and actually give a reason for Candida to thrive even more. So the cashew milk is like, but I already have it. And I mean, it's cream cheese. What am I mean, it's good until July 8th. I'd be surprised if I get through all of this. I might end up having to put it in a recipe or something. Moving on. Coconut oil, unrefined, organic coconut oil. It is liquefied because it is hot out right now. I also have the unflavored variety. I'm not a huge fan of the coconut oil flavor in my cooking, so this is not as, I don't think this is as good for you as just the raw straight up stuff, because you know it has to be processed to take out the flavors or something. I think it's like pressure or something, but I don't use it as often. I mix it up with organic butter. I mix it up with some avocado oil. I mix it up with maybe occasionally using the real coconut oil if I'm making like coconut shrimp or something and I don't mind the coconut flavor. And I'm going to mix it up with something that I haven't had in a very long time, but I picked it up the other day, which is ghee, and it's apparently very, very good for you and for a Candida Cleanse. So cow's milk fat is really all that it is. So there's that. This is an obsession. So my message to you is, this might, if you're like currently on, a specific diet, or you haven't started a diet or whatever it is, this might be like, whoa, back it up, Kimberly. Like, I gotta do one thing at a time. Most people do. I did too. What you are seeing is years of self-education, self-experimentation, and realizing that I know my body best and I know how I feel on certain things. That's my reminder to text my daughter not to forget her lunchbox, because she has left her classroom one time and went to lunch and didn't have her lunchbox, and nobody let her go back and get it, which I thought was outrageous. But mommy's like, no, we're not having that. So hold on, I'm just gonna send her a message real quick.